Remington centerfire cartridges for deer and elk. So, I guess you can tell right away this is not a 223, and I will go ahead and tell you that it is not a 7.62 by 5.4R. What it is a 308 Winchester. So the other day I went and got a Ruger American 22-inch barrel chambered in 308 Winchester. 308 Win. Yeah, because it's a winning round. And I put my Nikon 3x9 by 42 or whatever it is scope on there. It's a 3x9, and shot some groups. I shot groups with all of these rounds except for this tool ammo. I haven't fired it yet. So anyway, I just wanted to go over some of the qualities of the 308 round and the differences you might find if you're interested. I know that some of the people who are subscribed to my channel are really new to guns and are looking for information about whatever they can, whatever they can learn about, like me. I just love guns. I love ammunition. I love the sound they make. So I like to learn as much as I can. So anyway, let's start with this here Remington hypersonic bullet, and I'll tell you, this fired very poorly, grouped very poorly out of my gun. It was about a 3-inch group, and was not impressive at all. So there's a lot of glare on this. 50 yards, 100 yards, 200 yards, 300 yards, 500 yards. That's the expansion. I was looking for the trajectory. Most of them have it. This one apparently does not have the trajectory or velocities. So we'll stop this one right there. Next up, we have the Hornady American whitetail cartridge here. Another round that performed poorly out of my Ruger American. Groups on this were high and left and could not hold a 3-inch group. Struggled to hold a 3-inch group. So let's look at the numbers on it. So we got a muzzle velocity of 2,820 feet per second. I'm assuming that's with a 22 or 24-inch barrel because those are customary. With a 200 yard zero, your drop at 300 yards is 8.4 inches, 25 inches at 400 yards, and 51 or 61. I believe it's 51 inches. 51 inches at 500 yards. So just a hair over 4 feet. That's not bad. That's pretty decent. But again, I could not get these to group, and I tell you, I've had some really bad luck with Hornady ammunition, getting groups out of it in my my Ruger SR 5.56 and the Hornady Classic ammunition that I fired out of my Mosin Nagant. Poor grouping out of that too. So I'm going to put this in the pile with the Remington. I think that the higher velocities are the problem, but we'll see if we can see a trend with some of the ones that fired decent groups. Alright, this is the Fusion from Federal, and you can see the bullet construction has a very flattened nose. It's supposed to be bonded, hence the Fusion name. The specs on it are, oh yeah, and that was one thing that I didn't realize I was buying when I got this. This is a light, 50% less recoil. That's real fun to shoot, very comfortable, but it kind of turns your 308 Winchester into an AK-47 as far as energy is concerned. So we've got 170, what was that, 175 grains? 170 grain bullet traveling at 2,000 feet per second, giving us muzzle energy 1,510 feet. The average muzzle energy of an AK-47 is about 1,550. The drop, if you zero at 100 yards, which is probably going to be your zero for this round if you're using it, minus 4.4 inches at 200 yards. So it's not really a long range cartridge at all, which again totally negates the purpose of having a 308. 308 is a very accurate round. You know, if you get the right powder bullet combination and something your gun likes to shoot, as we'll see here in just a minute. I've got some more bullets, some more cartridges here that did extremely well grouping out of my Ruger American rifle. This did okay. I would say this one had about a 1.5 inch MOA at 100 yards. Alright, so this was the round that I used to sight in the rifle at 100 yards. And you can see a 165 grain bonded soft point. It's copper with the exposed lead. Soft point, kind of truncated there into a soft point, and on the back we have the specs. So here we go. Now we're getting up there. 165 grains, 2,650 feet per second, for muzzle energy of 2,670. It stays supersonic past 400 yards and carries out 1,400 foot-pounds of energy at 400 yards. If you zero in it at 100 yards, you have a 4-inch drop at 200 and 14 at 300, and so on and so forth. I'm going to set my zero up at 200 yards using the 2-inch, roughly 2-inch high on paper at 100 yard setting. Seems to be, that'll get you within an inch at 200 yards easy. So anyway, this is the bonded bullet. It supposedly can retain its weight, and it has a lot of energy. And this bullet here had 3 rounds touching on paper at 100 yards. So extremely accurate out of my cheap Ruger American 308. Very accurate with the Federal Deer Thugs here. It was just super impressive. I bought another box. This was another very accurate round in my rifle. The 308 150 grain Winchester Super X, and the ballistics table on the back of it shows that it has a muzzle velocity of 2,820 feet per second, which is very similar to the Remington or the Hornady. Hornady was 150 grain interlock bullet. So same grain, same bullet weight, similar muzzle velocity, just not accurate. This was a right at 1 MOA at 100 yards, and I'll do another live video shoot of this, of all these bullets in the near future, so you guys can see that I'm not lying about my rifle and say, oh yeah, it does 1 MOA, because it really does do 1 MOA with this bullet and the last one that I showed you, the 308 Win, the 165 grain bonded soft point from Federal, the Deer Thugs. Did super awesome. I was very impressed. And finally, the Silver State Armory Precision Ammunition Company has an offering that I found, and it is a hollow point boat tail, and this one was extremely accurate also. Had a little horizontal stringing to it, but the overall accuracy on it was definitely 1 MOA capable if you took the shooter out of it. Me, which, you know, I was bagged up really well trying to keep myself out of the equation. I don't have the specs on this one or the Remington. I'll roll them in. You should probably have already noticed on the Remington that I put whatever specs I could find up as a graphic whenever I was showing the box and talking about that round. But anyway, this round here is very very accurate in my Ruger American, and it's a winner. The one thing that I wanted to say was the Winchester Super X was possibly the most accurate round fired, but regardless, it was also the cheapest I could find. So when I see it available for the $17 that I paid for it, I will get it again. 17 bucks for a good 308 hunting round is a good deal. It's a good price. Anyway, hey guys, I appreciate you watching, and yeah, I guess one more thing. Let's do this. For the sake of comparison, those of you who don't know, here we got a 7.62x54R Mosin Nagant. There's that 308 Win winning, and a 5.56 round. And you can see why people love to say that the 5.56 is not as effective as a 308. Well, duh. Anyway, thanks again for watching, guys. I hope you learned something, or maybe if you didn't learn something, maybe you unlearned something. And I appreciate you watching the videos. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. All that stuff makes it worthwhile. And like I said, a shooting video and a review of the Ruger American chambered in 308 will be forthcoming. Again, appreciate you guys watching. Please don't forget to hit that like button. Helps out.